Yate Bini, good morning and welcome to the celebration of the Village SF. I'm Dawila Harrison, one of the project leads for the Village SF, and we are happy to have you guys here at our facility. We're happy to have Mayor London Breed, thank you, here. Harold Mitchell of the White House Environmental Justice Advisory Council. Oh, and the founder of Regenesis, I'm sorry about that. And Chairman Joseph James of the Yurok tribe here with us. We're here to talk about how we're going to reclaim this community for the urban natives here in San Francisco. We are also honored to be joined by several community leaders, elected officials, and government leadership. This includes Dan Burnell, Congresswoman Pelosi's District Chief of Staff, Supervisor Hillary Ronan, Catherine Pugh from the Regenesis Institute, Kat Taylor, the founder and CEO of the Office of Kat Taylor, Marty Wakazoo, the CEO of Native American Health Center. Along with him is Natalie Aguilar, the Chief Administrator for the Native American Health Center. Jonathan Cordero and Greg Castro of the Association of the Ramaytush Ohlone. April McGill, Executive Director for the American Indian Cultural Center. Sarah Mancato, the Executive Director for the Cultural Conservancy. Sharia Souza and Paloma Flores from the San Francisco American Indian Cultural District. Susanna Rojas, the Executive Director for Latino Cultural District. Roberto Hernandez, the founder and CEO of Kana and the Mission Food Hub. Dr. Cheryl Davis, Director of Human Rights Commission. Tyrone Ju, the Acting Director for the Department of the Environment. Rich Hills, Miriam Chone, and Julia Sabari from the San Francisco Planning Department. Josh Arce, Director of the Workforce Development, OEWD. Eric Shaw, the Director of MOHCD. Phil Ginsberg, the Director of SF Park and Rec. And Marcia Contreras, the Deputy Executive Director for Mission Housing. On behalf of the Friendship House staff and our Executive Director, Gabriel Pimentel, we want to thank you guys for joining us. Your collaboration makes all of this possible. My grandmother came here into the Bay Area during the relocation period, and my mother lived in Alcatraz during that really hard time, the famous occupation. I'm a mother and a strong Native woman in recovery who found my own through a healing through cultural and community connection. It has always felt like home here. The Village SF is a realization of even a bigger community, and I couldn't be prouder of what we are accomplishing here. As Native people, we are building this together. Now I'd like to introduce my brother, Peter Bratt, who is also one of the Village project leads.
Good morning, relatives. What a great day. Man. I have to recognize my sister, Virginia Hedrick from Sakui, who's also here today. A great partner and ally of ours. Sis, good to see you. My name is Peter Bratt. I'm Quechua Aymara. I'm born and raised here in San Francisco. As a child, I grew up going to the Indian Center around the corner on Valencia Street. I have been working with Friendship House for more than 30 years. And the Village SF was the vision of our late founder, Helen Wakazoo, who dreamed of a place where Native people would not simply survive, but thrive. The Village SF is that place, it's that vision. It's actually a citywide initiative, but it starts with a 6-story building that's gonna go right behind you that will offer social services, medical, dental, and behavioral health care, cultural space, youth and elder programming, a women's lodge dedicated to mothers in recovery with their young children, affordable housing, and food sovereignty programs throughout the city. The Village SF is a place where Native peoples displaced from their homelands or far from family can reclaim a community to call their own. The Village will be a place where Native peoples can access vital support services, but more than that, it will be a place where our people can gather in community, experience a sense of belonging, acceptance, and what we all need, a place to call home. With that, I'd like to ask my brother Greg Castro, who's one of the wisdom keepers for the Rumatush Ohlone, the first people of this place we now call San Francisco. My brother's in the house. Can you come on up and help us out? And also my nephew, Mike Ballinger Jr. from the All Nations Drum. If I could ask you all to stand, he's going to offer a blessing, and then we're going to go into a prayer song.
Towa towa hiye, hey Eliama. 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 Towa towa hiye. Hey Eliama, towa towa hiye, 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 hey Eliama, towa towa hiye. Hey Eliama, towa towa hiye, 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 hey Eliama, Yeah. Thank you. Can you remain standing for a moment, those that can?
Good morning. I was asked to come and share a prayer song to help open up this beautiful morning. I also want to acknowledge that this song was composed by Leo McGilvery of Saddle Lake, Alberta, and I specifically wanted to sing this song in honor of Helen, the late Helen Wakazoo. You know, she was the pivotal matriarch of our community here in San Francisco, and this song talks about our mother and the women. So with that, I want to sing this song. Hell
Hear my nephew sing Mayor Breed, I have to tell you a story. Helen Wakazu, who I called mom, she called me her son. When you became the mayor of San Francisco, she said, "Look at that, son. There's a beautiful, strong woman, leader in San Francisco. One day she's gonna come here to Friendship House." And just hearing that song, you know, I'm moved because that was a prayer, that was the thought she had, and now here it has come to pass. Here you are today, so really good to have you here. I feel really honored. With that, I have the honor of introducing Harold Mitchell, who has become a warrior for us in San Francisco and here at Friendship House. He is a member of the White House Environmental Justice Council, Advisory Council, the president and CEO of the Regenesis Institute, an organization of experts that are helping city and state leaders across the country understand President Biden's Justice 40 initiative, something you hear more about from him in a few seconds. Harold, he's modest, but he's somewhat of a legend in the environmental advocacy world, where after founding the Regenesis Institute in 1997, led the Arkwright and Forest Park communities that were contaminated by waste, chemical sites, and with an EPA grant of $20,000, he leveraged that into $300 million worth of community investment, creating 500 new affordable housing units, several community health centers, job training and employment programs, a new retail development, and a state-of-the-art community center in South Carolina. The community problem-solving model that Harold created in South Carolina has become the gold standard for the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, helping us all understand how environmental and racial justice intersect. Over the past 2 years, Harold has been helping us here at Friendship House develop the Village SF so that we can do something similar here in San Francisco to what he created in his home state. Relatives, please welcome someone I consider not just a mentor and friend, but I consider now my brother, Harold Mitchell. Please come take the stand.
This is truly a beautiful day. I'll take credit for dialing up the good weather. I want to say good morning, everyone, and a special greeting to Mayor Breed. And also, we cannot forget the visionary and founder, Helen Wakazu. I am, as Peter stated, Harold Mitchell Jr., President and CEO of the Regenesis Institute, an organization, as Peter stated, similar like here. We took that $20,000 small grant and leveraged it into $300 million. And these were not PhD experts, but these were extraordinary people in the community that had the same passion that you have, and that was wanting to transform our community. Before I get started, there's someone that I would like to recognize here that's with us today. And she is really the reason that I met Peter. And during the campaign with Tom Steyer, she put a drive back in me to want to get out and replicate what we did in Spartanburg. It's like, this is too good, too great of what you've done here. Why are you holding it? Why don't you get out and share this with other people around the country? And I had no such desire of doing such a thing. And Kat Taylor, would you please stand? We at the Regenesis Institute, ma'am, would not be here and certainly would not have been able to do the work that we're doing, not only with the Friendship House, but other projects we are engaged in around the country. Please, if you could, give Kat and her team, I see Sharice there, we could not have done any of what we're doing right now without you, and I just want to say thank you. I know she didn't want me to do that, but as my 3-year-old grandmother told me give flowers to those while they're still living, breathing, can see and hear. So thank you, ma'am. And now that I would like to get started with you to talk about why we are here today. And that is, I am grateful, and many environmental justice leaders and climate leaders around the country are grateful for what President Biden has been able to do thus far. A lot of people don't understand what is Justice 40. So I'm here to tell you just a little bit about what is Justice 40. And while he was still candidate Biden in 2020, I sat on the call with him and about 26 other leaders, environmental justice leaders around the country. And then candidate Biden asked us, is like, what can I do? What can I do to help you in the climate arena and environmental justice? I want to get it right. And he sat there with us, and everyone gave their thoughts as to what needs to happen in the Appalachian region, in the South, out West. So he got a good picture from everyone around the country saying, this is what we need. And when he was able to put that plan together, he came back and said, is this right? You're the first to see this before I release it. And so I want you to know that, because this wasn't we're just going to put this so-called Justice 40, a fly-by-night out there. This was a lot of work before he even became president that went into what is Justice 40 today. And so with that, once he was able to get this out there and won the election, he decided that he needed to keep this same group of 26 of us on the council to give advice, because we're the ones on the front lines. And he stated, just like with the project in Spartanburg, it's a model for the collaborative problem solving. The exact same thing that you're doing here right now, but we did not have the resources and the commitment of what's here today. So in that, I will say that that bold agenda that President Biden went after had to have the resources. And that's why I would say that when you look at your Congresswoman and our Speaker that I miss so dearly, Nancy Pelosi, for passing those historic pieces of legislation, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, that was across the aisle, the Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS and manufacturing, the American Recovery. All of these pieces of legislation was important to be able to do what President Biden stated he wanted to do with all the disadvantaged communities. And so in this, Justice 40 declared that 40% of certain federal dollars from covered programs would go to disadvantaged communities that are marginalized, underserved, underburdened, and underfunded. And so that's kind of, Friendship House fits that. And so the big thing that you have to keep in mind, that a lot of people talk about models. I've heard everyone saying, oh, it's a model, it's a model. But basically, we need examples. That's what a model is a true example. And that example is what you have today with your mayor and the commitment from her staff. Josh, where's Josh? Josh stepped up immediately with us when we met in the office with the entire team, your chief of staff, tremendous, and was beating us over the head saying, what is Justice 40? But I will tell you that that executive order that was passed by President Biden of 14008, which is among the reasons that we're here today. And Mayor Breed, the work you and your staff has put into ensuring that Justice 40, by offering San Francisco, as a model for environmental justice, is nothing short of amazing. This partnership that you have been able to pull together with Friendship House, the Yurok tribe, all of this is something you don't see in other places around the country. And I have gone to a lot of places even before this whole thing of Justice 40. You don't see the type of synergy and commitment and passion that you see here with the Friendship House and the key partners. This is what is needed as a model around the country. People are trying to figure out how to do this work. And what you have is the right process and coalition in order to make it work. Now, The good thing about oversight that we're talking about is to make sure that the oversight and accountability is in place for the billions of dollars that we have seen going out thus far and much more to come. And that type of oversight will prevent the abuse that we've seen in the past. This is one thing that I'm very happy that the screening tool, the environmental justice screening tool that's out, the type of oversight and input from around the country, making sure that these dollars get on the ground to those frontline communities like the Friendship House. And this is why I told Peter and the team 6 months ago that I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure that this model is uplifted, that other people around the country can look to. And the more we talk about Friendship House, the more folks are saying, what is the Friendship House? And so I just want you to realize and understand the hard work that you're doing. It's not going without notice. And I can't say some of the things that I wanted to say here today, but it's going to come very shortly to you. I will not get beat up for that. But I will tell you, though, that it is incredibly humbling to see the kind of passion that Helen and the entire team is still moving forward with here at Friendship House. I know that, you hear some people saying, well, why are you putting and investing into the Friendship House? We heard that same thing in Spartanburg. And that investment, once I got to the State House where I served as a state representative in South Carolina, we passed an environmental justice bill because they saw the economic impact. When they began to see the impact of what we were able to do in Spartanburg, people like Nikki Haley, Mick Mulvaney, Trump's chief of staff, and other Freedom Caucus members signed on to that bill and said we have to have environmental justice in Spartanburg. Now, if that can happen in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and you having Nancy Pelosi, Mayor Breed, and the president with this kind of a commitment, we leveraged $300 million. There's no telling what you're going to be able to leverage here. And who's going to kick against the ills that we see, and especially after the pandemic? When you look at fentanyl and the opioids, all of the crises that we see, the behavioral health issues after being locked up in the pandemic era, HHS, the secretary of HHS, who is also from California, Javier, I mean, when you look at the people that's on the team and lined up, it's just like me setting this weather up for you today. It is going to be incredible what takes place here. And that's why I have to say thank you for your commitment in this city, for what you do and what you're doing, taking a step forward, embracing this project. Everywhere around the country, people are looking for shovel-ready projects. This is shovel-ready. This has the coalition that is necessary for President Biden and these agencies to invest in. You have everything here. And so I'm excited and ready. As we begin to see these dollars flow in here, I'll just start speaking it that way forward so I won't get in any more trouble. But I will say in my closing, because I'm just so excited every time I come here, and I don't want my excitement to get me in trouble. So I will say, Peter, if you and Mayor Breed could come up for 1 second. Where's Sequoia? Before I introduce you, I want to present both of you, and I know with time, I'm not going to be able to read these proclamations, but these proclamations is from the Regenesis Institute, because as a model that EPA has used Spartanburg as that model and example, not only in the country, but outside of the country. I mean, we've had folks from Taiwan, Korea, everyone come in to look at what we were able to do in Spartanburg, and it's nothing compared to what I know that's going to happen here. I've done it before, done it again, and I know we're going to do it now with you and your leadership. And so I just want to say thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. And thank you, family. Let's get it done. And now, before I get into any more trouble, I'm going to introduce the mayor. London Breed is the 45th mayor of the city and county of San Francisco.
I thought it was a quick introduction.
Hey, you've got a lot of accomplishments, Mayor. Okay. And so, Mayor Breed, this is, you couldn't break this up, though. I mean, being the first African-American woman mayor in San Francisco's history is something I don't think we have to give her the round of applause. And during your administration, she has prioritized policies and programs to address some of the most crucial issues facing the city, including housing, homelessness, workforce development, public housing, climate change, and recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Born and raised in San Francisco, Mayor Breed's vision for the city is rooted in her experiences growing up in public housing and living in neighborhoods impacted by redevelopment, and her commitment to creating opportunities for all San Franciscans to live and thrive. See, we got another thing that I have in common with you here. We gave you Debo Samuel from Spartanburg. I was hoping to have a better introduction with you today, but that didn't work out. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to your mayor, London Breed.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I gotta say, you know, I don't know what your nephew who sang the song, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but Michael, when Michael was singing, what's interesting is something was going on inside of me at that moment, and I didn't understand what was going on. And then when Peter told the story about what Helen said, I really felt that connection, and it was like, I didn't get it at the time, but I got it when he said what he said. And it just demonstrates to you, this is more than just a space or a project. This is a spiritual reawakening of a proportional magnitude that is different than most other projects that occur in the city and county of San Francisco because of the community that's been impacted by many of the challenges that not only have existed in San Francisco, but throughout this country. So today, as the sun shines, it feels so incredibly good and rewarding to think that Helen's vision has really taken on a completely different dynamic in terms of what it has created in not just the American Indian community in the American Indian Cultural District, but what it has created for other communities and how it has included other communities to be a part of this extraordinary opportunity in this moment in San Francisco. So I feel incredibly proud to be here today, but I gotta say, it started a while ago when Roberto Hernandez reached out to me and Peter Bratt, they came and met with me to talk to me about what they wanted to do. And in my mind, I thought, whoa, this is revolutionary. How long is this gonna take? That's what I was very much nervous about. Is this gonna take forever to get done? And I specifically said, I want this done during my time as mayor. I wanna see this project happen. And so I made it clear to my team that we have to make this a priority. The community is bringing forth the vision, and a community that has provided the services right here at Friendship House, working hand in hand with a number of organizations to provide the support for medical, for youth, for seniors, and to imagine a building that will not only provide those same services, but will provide housing, that will provide a rooftop garden to create culturally supported food and medicine, It is exactly what I know is desperately needed in this community to ensure the success, to ensure that this community thrives, and to ensure that there is an anchor, clear place that is highlighted in such a beautiful way through this building right in the heart of San Francisco's Mission District and right in the heart of the American Indian Cultural District. It is absolutely extraordinary, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. Now, Harold, I feel like we got some promises without you saying the words of those promises. In 1945, San Francisco hosted the United Nations to sign the original agreement. And more recently, in 2018, we held a significant global climate summit in our city. And the reason why it happened here is because San Francisco has been a leader around climate change. But there was a slight component missing in the whole climate battles, and that was really focusing on equity and how we address the challenges around equity as we push for changes to improve what we do around protecting the environment for future generations, protecting the planet, the things that this community represents in terms of being stewards of the land and protecting it and protecting its people and protecting it for generations to come. And so when I think about what we did here in 2021, when we put out a climate action plan in San Francisco, it really centered around equity, and it centered around focusing on those communities that have unfortunately been disproportionately impacted by some of the bad decisions that have been made in the past. And in fact, I appreciate the fact that the department spends so much time focusing on the Bayview Hunters Point community because of the power plants and looking at the data around the high rates of asthma and cancer and other issues and how we needed to change that for the better. In fact, that climate action plan has us well on our way to implement a lot of different things that are going to help San Francisco get to net zero carbon emissions by 2040, which is extraordinary and better than any place in the country. Why is that important? It's important because basically I feel like the president stole the language of our climate action plan to use for its Justice 40 initiative. This is the perfect place. This is, as Harold talked about, the perfect plan for using this, for using Village SF as a model for the rest of the country to follow. The support from philanthropy, and thank you so much, Kat, for your work and for being here. The support from the city and county of San Francisco, the support from the state, all of us working collaboratively to provide the support necessary to create a space that came out of a vision of a community. This is exactly the kind of project that is ready to go. And it's not only a beautiful building, but it's the people that are going to make that building even more beautiful in providing the support and the services. This is a win-win. It is a win-win for our city, our state, and our country. It is a real win for our climate action goals, and it will be a testament to the legacy of Helen and Peter and so many who are here today for the next generation, to be the stewards of not just this building, but this city, this land, and all that it represents. So I'm really excited to be here because I was definitely nervous about something taking too long. I'm always critical of the city and its, structure and how everything takes so many bureaucratic years to get done. And your supervisor, Hillary Ronan, has committed to working with me on addressing those challenges so that this building doesn't have to deal with those obstacles. We are going to move. We are going to move mountains to get it done. There are a lot of the department heads from planning, from Rec and Park and other places, and people who are committed to working with the community to make sure that it's done. So I'm really glad to be here. And I cannot wait to come back so that we can break ground and so that we can get started and we can cut the ribbons and we can get this place open sooner rather than later. It really does take a village. Because you heard all those names that were first mentioned. That's a real village. But every single name is an important part of the village that will get this project done. And we're going to be so proud and so excited about what it brings to this community. Because it will not only represent and support the American Indian culture, but it will be a place that people from this city will be welcomed with open arms. And I am looking forward to that day. And I am sure that it will probably be a just as beautiful day today as it will be when we open the doors of the new Village SF in San Francisco in hopefully the very near future. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh, and with that, I'm going to introduce the person who's going to help me in the Board of Supervisors chamber to cut through all the bureaucratic red tape so that we don't have to wait, because we want to see this done. And Supervisor, you got more to push for aggressively because you told me I want to get these important projects done before my term is up. So, you know, we got 2 years, a little bit less than 2 years to get it done. But Supervisor Ronan will definitely be a real partner in the work that we are going to do to get this project over the finish line. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Supervisor, Hillary Ronan.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Here, this one. Thank you, Mayor Breed. I cannot wait to get to work. We are both so frustrated with the length of time and the cost that it takes to build anything and get progress in San Francisco. And we're going to team up and we're going to cut through the red tape and we're going to cut through the bureaucracy. And yes, I have 2 years left. So I want to see this project open its doors in that time. And thanks for having the heart. You can tell and express that this project is a little different than our everyday project. It feels historical, and I think that is because it's been too long, way too long, for the American Indian community in this country to get justice for its people, to get its land back, because let's face it, all the land we stand on in San Francisco is stolen land, and it was stolen from the American Indian Ohlone people. And this is the first time when we created the American Indian Cultural District, which we're all so excited about and so proud of, and I am so honored to be the supervisor of the district where it sits. It's the first time that we're starting to give land back. And in order to have justice, in order to have healing centers and community space and affordable, truly affordable housing for the people that need it most, and all the environmental benefits that come with that justice, that return of the land, it takes space, it takes property, it takes territory. And wow, it's overdue to give that land and that space and that territory back to the American Indian people of San Francisco and the region. So I could not be happier to be standing here in partnership and solidarity with all of you today. We're going to get this project past the finish line in record time. And you'll have me with you every step of the way. Congratulations.
Hello, family, again. It is my pleasure to introduce the next person who's going to come up, and it is the chairman, Joseph L. James. Chairman Joseph James is the chair of the Yurok tribe, the largest surviving tribe in California, with more than 6,000 enrolled residents and ancestral homelands spanning across today's countries of Humboldt and Del Norte into the Pacific Ocean and along the Klamath River, which I recently visited, and it is gorgeous. Just letting you guys know. As chairman, he has led the Yurok tribe in its efforts to protect natural and cultural resources, to expand the tribe's economic development portfolio, and to combat the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous people. As a key partner of the Justice 40 Village Initiative, Chairman James and the Yurok tribe are working for the Friendship House and the city to create an affordable housing for the Yurok and Native American people in the San Francisco, and to build the Yurok Tribe Regional Wellness Center in Humboldt County. I'd like to introduce to you Tribal Chairman.
Good morning. Again, Nick now, Joseph L. James, chairman of the Yurok tribe. I come from the village of Shregon, located on the lower Klamath River, just north of here, about 6-7 hours. Thought a lot about today. You know, today's a proud day, a beautiful day, but when I think of that, you know, I give thanks. I give thanks to everybody that paved the way. I give thanks to everybody that made me who the person I am. As a person, as a tribal chairman, no individual could do it alone without their family or their upbringing. As I mentioned, our village. I appreciate that coming from a village back at home, being able to care, love one another. We're always taught that. You know, this is what it looks like here today, as bringing people together from the White House, from the state, from the local government, tribal leaders, community, from rural and urban. You know, this is what it looks like here today, to think Indian, to be Indian, to take care of one another. And again, it's a privilege and honor. I want to thank everyone here today. We at the Yurok tribe are honored to be working with the Friendship House, the oldest and largest American Indian-led organization serving the American Indians in San Francisco. Our Justice 40 partnership includes 2 key projects: creating affordable housing for Yurok and Indian people in San Francisco, and creating a Yurok Tribe Wellness Center at home at Yurok. Really excited about that. Really proud of that. You know, be able to provide that wellness, that treatment center here at home at Yurok. You know, combating crisis. You never know what an individual is going through on a day-to-day basis. You truly don't. And again, that's why I, you know, was taught and raised, you know, to free our mind, to free my mind, you know, to open up our heart. By my grandfather back at home, you know, sitting there looking up, beautiful day. Yeah, you know, Creator is looking down for us and providing that space for us today as this historic day, and you know, cutting edge, moving forward, setting the precedence in a good way, providing this opportunity for the Justice 40. You know, it fits well with us as Indian people. You know, I was at an event of MIP next week, and again, we're always taught to take care, look after. And here at this new facility that's coming forward, a timeline, you know, that's just not going to service people, Indian people, you know, to have the land come back, to bring us whole, to bring balance back to us as people. Land, you know, it is truly a privilege and honor to think back who's paved the way and to get to this point and to be standing here today in front of everybody here. And again, as you know, always taught as our elders, you know, I don't speak the language very much, but think Indian. That's what I heard here today. That's who we are. That's what we're doing. Thinking Indian, to take care of one each other. Before I'd like to close with a song. You know, I do a lot of songs back at home, our culture, in our house, and again, as I think of my my upbringing every time of who I am as a person, and be able to have this privilege and opportunity as a tribal chair to serve our people and moving forward. And Peter, it is truly an honor to be here, to be part of this, brother. I say, let's get down and get down with the work. Yeah, so again, we've got a lot of work yet to do, but again, is really excited about the opportunity and the action that's happening. And so, and again, as I sing a song, as I mentioned, you never know where somebody's at in their lives. I woke up this morning, did my thing spiritually, cultural, and getting ready for today. If we can help one another here today, help our families back at home, help our community, help our villages, do that. Do that. Speak from your heart. Speak from your heart, help one another, and that's what we're doing here today. And let's open it up with a song. He did you, he did you, he did you. Hello. With that, again, thank you. Thank you. It's truly a privilege and an honor to be here today.
Thank you, relatives, for your patience. As my brother was singing, I was reminded of one of our medicine people who used to come and work here with the relatives. These eagle feathers right here that you see, this buffalo hair that you see, these songs that you're hearing, they were once outlawed by this federal government. And the native people, they laid down their lives, they shed their blood so we could use these things today. So I really appreciate those songs, brother. And with that, I want to ask my brother Dan Bernal to come up and share a few words. Dan is the president of the Health Commission here in San Francisco, and he holds that down as the deputy chief of staff for Congresswoman Pelosi, who was a dear friend of my mom, Helen Wakazu. And when Helen had the vision to build this building you see before you, Speaker Pelosi at the time, she helped make it a reality. In fact, our kitchen is called Nancy's Kitchen. So with that, Daniel, I really want to thank you for the support that you and the Speaker have shown, the Congresswoman, excuse me, have shown throughout the decades.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter. It's really a privilege to be here with you, with the mayor, of course, with Mr. Mitchell from the White House. And, we can call her Nancy, we're at home, right? Nancy's dear friend, Helen Wakazu, her spirit is really present here, and we all felt it when you were speaking about the history that our mayor has made here in San Francisco, too. So with the songs and the spirituality, thank you. Just very briefly, Speaker Pelosi is very grateful for the opportunity to support your critical work to provide culturally sensitive, whole person care to our urban Indian community here in San Francisco. And that is why in the 2023 appropriations bill, she sought and secured funding through the Community Funding Project program in order to support the village here and everything and all of the exciting work and support and community activity, particularly for our community members who are in recovery. So exciting that you're going to be providing services specifically for mothers with their children who are working to really better themselves and to create a great life for themselves and to really build this fabric of community. So on behalf of Speaker Pelosi, Speaker Emerita Pelosi, thank you again for your leadership. Thank you for inviting her to be here. I know she wants to come back and visit the kitchen, and she can't wait to come and visit the village as well. So thank you very much for having me here. It's a real privilege. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and may I also add that on behalf of Speaker Emerita Pelosi, I have a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to the Friendship House Association of American Indians for your leadership in establishing the Village SF to provide holistic and culturally significant services to San Francisco's urban Indian community in recognition of outstanding and invaluable service to the community. So.
All right, relatives, we would like to, our executive director, Gabriel Pimentel, and one of our elders, Patricia Shirley, we would like to ask Mayor Breed, Dan, Hillary, Chairman James, and Harold Mitchell to come stand here. We want to honor you with the blanket. These blankets have deep spiritual, cultural meaning. In cold winters, they could literally save your life. They were hard to come by, and they represent our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, all the way back in time. May you always be sheltered by love, compassion, and protection. Aho. As we honor our relatives, I want to ask my brother.
In our culture, we don't put a bucket around the married man, so we honor them putting on their left shoulder.
Aho. We've asked our chief, Martin Wakazoo, he's recognized as a chief throughout Indian country. He was Helen's husband, and he just celebrated 50 years Native American Health Center. He helped build Friendship House. He's going to share some words with us to close us out.
Thank you, Peter. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the residents who are taking care of their issues and their problems. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here this morning. This is a dream that Helen had many years ago. She shared it with the family and with the family at the Friendship House, that we have to make sure that our culture stays alive, that our ways and our ceremonies continue for the next generation. I'm a great-grandfather. Helen and I worked every day to make sure that our children followed their traditional ways. Helen, when she went to boarding school from Navajo Reservation to Intermountain in Utah, where she was told she couldn't speak her language, she couldn't practice her ways. And when she graduated there, she didn't have a choice to either go back to the reservation or to go. She was forced to come to San Francisco. You know, today is a very special day to hear people voice their support for the village. It's something that we desperately need for future generations. And I want to thank all the representatives from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco for your support and continued efforts to ensure that this building is built. And to my community, I just want to say, stand up, be strong. It will get done. It's going to be a difficult road, difficult path, but never give up. Never give up. Never give up hope. And I just want to say, in my 40 years married to Helen, I saw Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom, and the mayor, who I watch, and then I think about my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, Ayana and Koya. Now I can say to them, you can be mayor too. And maybe one day, president. So thank you. Where's Peter? Come on. Take it back.
Okay.
Take us through.
All right, thank you, brother. Again, thank you, Mayor Breed, for coming. I know you're busy woman. All of you. Hillary, thank you. Dan, Brother Joseph, Brother Harold, thank you all for coming. Relatives, thank you for coming, for believing in this vision. And if you'd like, we have some refreshments for you, and we'd love to get a couple photographs. So thank you all for coming for this historic day. If we can just have you group right here, grab a couple photos. Thank you all, relatives. Have a good day.